everyone, I'm Therese Wong. Today, I'd like to share with you how to prepare the Viva Voce part of the dipABRSM. Many readers and students come to me and ask how they should prepare for this part, as it seems like the examiners can ask any kind of question they want. In fact, candidates should be able to collect a pool of information so that they can refer to this information to answer most, if not all, of the questions. Now today, I will teach you how to draw this chart so that you will understand how much information you have and you can revise with this chart before the exam comes. Now let's start. This is the chart that I've completed, but now we're going to start from scratch. I'd like to start from the composer. Now we're going to start from the composer of the piece that you're playing. For each song, you're going to draw a chart like this, okay? Now, so for example, is Bach. Now we're going to think about the instrument that you're playing, in this case, piano. And then this is your work. For example, you're playing the toccata in E minor, which is quite popular for the syllabus. So, toccata. What's the meaning of toccata? What is the genre of toccata? What would you find in one toccata? For example, in the E minor toccata, there are 4 parts. Right? Prelude, the fugue, the first fugue, which is a double fugue, adagio in a recitative style, and then another fugue, a longer one, which is also a double fugue. Quite uncommon. And then you have to know exactly what's going on inside the song. So that's the analysis part, which is a big part for each song. You're going to know about, of course, the key, the tonality, the transposition. For example, for the fugue, you have to know about the subject, where the subject occurs, and the transposition, etc., etc. The picardy third, and for the adagio, the idiomatic writing, the tradition of the recitative, and then the fugue, another fugue, the double fugue. What kind of writing is used. Okay? So that's the big part. Now, so other than the toccata that you are playing, how many other toccatas that Bach has written? Okay? And other than the toccatas, what other works and genres? The keyboard repertoire that Bach has written. For example, we have Prelude and Fugue, French Suite, English Suite, Partitas, Italian Concerto, Invention, so many, right? At least you know some of the genres that you can name. Okay, now there's an important part here. For your work, the examiners sometimes like to ask this question. Is there any recording of any performers that you like? Have you heard of any performer's interpretation that you enjoy? Many people don't know of any pianist's name, which is strange. So you have to know who has played what, right? Who's famous for playing Bach's work, or toccata. For example, Angel Hewitt, Andreas Schiff, or Glenn Gould, right? So many. So you can at least you can name a few, right? Or like the ones that you like, enjoy, and why. Just a very general answer, okay? There's no right or wrong in here. So names. There's a lot of names involved here. Now, so other than the piano works, we have to know about other instruments. Why? Because they might ask you, okay, do you know any other works by the same composer? Can you name some of the works? So you know about some solo works. For example, the violin or cello suite, the violin partitas. And then some ensembles, like small ensembles. For example, in the classical period or the romantic period, there will be like quartets, the trios, right? Then you have to know some of the names. And then the orchestral work, which is very important. If it's Bach, then you're going to know Brandenburg Concerto, right? And then in classical period and romantic period, one very popular genre, symphonies, or some concertos, etc. Now, other than the instruments, you're going to have voice, right? We cannot forget about voice. Okay, the singer's going to get mad. Solos. What solo works? And then the ensembles or the bigger productions. For example, for Bach, there are cantatas, the sacred or secular ones, and there's only one secular one. Oratorios, and then for classical period, a romantic period, there'll be operas. The names, okay, again, names of the operas. And then if it's late romantic period, there'll be some song cycles, lieders, the art songs, right? Schumann, Schubert, the Winterreise, Hugo Wolf, Strauss, etc., etc. Okay, so these. Now, let's go back to composers. And then we have to think about the background in general, right? Do you know anything about Bach or Beethoven, the composer of your work? So the general information here, and then some specific information with reference to your work. What is he doing when he's writing the work that you're playing? Right, so with reference to your work. And then about your instrument. For example, if you're playing the toccata or any Baroque period work, then you're going to know about the other instrument, the predecessors. For example, the harpsichord, the organ, the clavichord, Bach's favorite. What are the actions? The actions of the instrument. What is the difference between these and your instrument, the piano? And how does that affect the way you're going to play? You play. So that we call the performance practice. Very important in Baroque and classical period even. How are you going to interpret the song, the dynamics, the articulation, the ornamentation, etc. How are you going to perform this work in a modern instrument, like a piano, instead of a harpsichord? So you know about the actions, about your instrument. And for example, in the classical period, if you're playing a Beethoven sonata, what is the difference between the piano used by Beethoven and that by Mozart? The English action and the Viennese action. So you're going to know a little bit about that and how that is going to affect the way the composer writes. Now here, other than Bach from the Baroque period, do you know anything about the other composers? right? So can you name the other composers who had also written keyboard works? Names again. Scarlatti for his sonatas, and Handel for the variations, for example. Now this chart is going to help you a lot. For each song, you're going to know all this information, and you have no trouble in answering the question in the Viva Voce exam. Good luck!